guys, it's Laura. Today's routine is a little stretch just to release some stress and tension in the body. This is a great thing to do maybe at night before you go to bed or when you're feeling overwhelmed by the day. Now I'm using a rolled up hand towel. We'll be using that during a couple of the stretches. Anything will work, a yoga strap or a longer towel. I'm also using an ottoman to have a seat. We'll be doing seated stretches, but feel free to use a stable chair, a bench, or a mini step. So if you're ready, let's have a seat, and you can put that towel off to the side. So we're going to start in the hips. We're going to focus on the muscles that tend to hold the most tension when we're stressed out and overwhelmed. So take that right foot and put the side of that foot on your thigh. You don't want your ankle on there. Just take the side of that foot and think about staying lifted through your spine. So if you're really tight in that right hip, you may feel that tension right away. So just hang out there for a little bit. We're going to hold each stretch for about 45 to 60 seconds. Moving into that stretch, as that muscle relaxes, try to take deep breaths so you send that signal to those muscles to release. So use that breath. This is a good time to focus on taking that time to take care of yourself. So often we put the needs of others ahead of ourselves, and we're usually the last on the list. And sometimes we don't take that time for ourselves at all. Forward a little more if you can. If you can do it without rounding the spine, that's great. So you want to stay lifted. Even if you're not going very far forward, if you're feeling that hip, you're doing it. I'm going to take the opposite hand and put it on the outside of that knee. Other hand behind me to help me lift through my spine. Big inhale. Exhale. Turn toward that hip. So make sure you're lifted through that spine. And if this is too much, you can back off. Think about release, relax. Never forcing. Just listening to our body, what feels good. One final breath, big inhale. Exhale. Slowly unwind. Take that down. And let's switch sides. Take the other foot. Side of that foot. Sit up real tall. Each side can be different, so you may feel more tension on one side than the other. Lift through the spine. Shoulders back. And then you can tip from the hip. You can, if you have good flexibility in that hip or you feel like you could do more without forcing, gently press down into that thigh. Now, I like to joke that I'm a reformed perfectionist, but it's really not a joke. I really was a hardcore perfectionist, and that kept me from doing a lot of things I wanted to do because I was afraid that if I couldn't do it perfectly, there was no point doing it at all. And you may be that way. You may be one of those people like me that felt like we're always striving, always doing, going. And that puts a lot on your body. Really, you're not in tune with your body when you're like that, because it's usually coming from a place of, I'm not good enough as I am, so I have to perform and prove myself. Tipping a little further forward. That could be something that you learned when you were younger, that always need to perform, always need to prove yourself, to prove your worth. Right now, we're not worried about perfect. Okay, sit up real tall. Now take this, remember this is optional. Take this opposite hand on the side of that leg. Other hand behind you, lift up. Really tall through the spine, big inhale. And exhale and turn the torso. Gentle pressure on the side of that thigh. Remember, too much, back it off. You can stay right where we were. Nice deep breaths. Okay, one more big breath. Exhale, release, and let it go. Nice job. Okay, take that down. So we're going to get into the neck. So you can grab that rolled up towel. Remember, this could also be a yoga strap. Just something where you can put a little bit of tension on those muscles while still keeping those shoulders down. Okay, so sit up tall. And I'm going to put this towel across the crown of my head, right in the back, the top of my head. And then I hold the ends, depress the shoulders or take them down, and think about pulling the chin forward and down. So shoulders down. See how that neck feels, the trapezius muscle, the back of the neck. These are muscles that hold the most tension when we're stressed out. You may feel tight in those muscles, and that's a good sign that you are carrying stress all day long. Like I said, I used to do that. Now I'm a lot more aware of what I'm doing. And it took a while to get to that point. I'm still a work in progress, but I'm trying to be better. So you can tilt the head. You got gentle downward pressure of that shoulder. Push it down and feel the stretch in the side of the neck. And then switch sides. So I'm pulling, pushing that shoulder down. I learned this recently that our bodies, at least this is the theory, that our shoulders will scrunch up when we're stressed. That's our body's response to stress to protect our neck, which I find really interesting. Okay, bring it center, bring it up. Take those arms up. Now I'm grabbing the ends, and I'm going to take it back, opening up through the chest, front of the shoulder. So stay lifted through that spine, and you can even add a spinal extension. And if you can get those arms nice and straight. We tend to do, we have our hands in front of us all day, whether we're on a computer or driving, but we want to open up the chest and the front of the shoulders because they tend to get very tight and shortened. We don't get into spinal extension very often. Okay, bring that down. Take your feet farther apart so you have a wider base of support. And I'm going to take it up over to the side. Now see how I widen my feet? Now, if this doesn't feel good to you, you can put the towel down and just do a supported side stretch. But I want you to think about taking that shoulder blade away, lifting up and reaching. And breathing. Try not to hold your breath. go the other way. Remember, get that shoulder blade. See the difference here as I lift up and I reach. I'm pressing down to the hip to anchor the hips. Trying to open up this space here. Good. Bring it center. Very nice. Okay, so I'm going to put the towel down out of your way, and we're going to take your right leg, shift forward on whatever you're sitting on so that you have space to get that leg off. And you're going to pull that toe back and tip forward into the hamstring stretch. So think about hinging from the hip as opposed to the mid-back. So like a bow, like you're bowing forward so you get into that hamstring. And if you pull that toe back, you'll feel it into your calf as well. Now point that toe. You're stretching into the tibialis anterior or the shin. Bring yourself up. Let's switch sides. How do you feel? Remember, whatever has been going on throughout the day, your week, just try to let it go and focus on how your body feels right now. So take that time for yourself. Just try to be present in your body and how it's feeling. So often we dissociate from our bodies. We're just in our heads all the time. The hinge from the hip, pressing the chest forward as opposed to down, so you deepen that stretch. Okay, now point that toe and feel that shin. Now we're going to be going down into a kneeling position, which is why I have a mat. If you need to use that towel to put your knee on, this is a great time to do it. So take that towel, and I'll use it just to show you. This mat is pretty comfy, but you might have a thinner mat. So I fold it so I have extra cushion for my knee. This is just an ottoman from my living room, but it's like the perfect height. So the knee that I'm on, obviously, I put that towel underneath that knee just so I have a little more cushion there and support. So I'm going to take a big step forward. So I want this knee right over my heel. And I want this back knee, the one on the floor, behind the hip. So I'm going to turn so you can see me better. So I want to step far enough forward so I feel that hip flexor into the quadricep. And you can bend the toe or you can lay that foot down. So if you want to deepen the stretch, you can lean back into more of a spinal extension. You can reach that arm. Bring yourself up. I'm going to half sit on my ottoman here. So I'm in the same position. And this is a good option if you can't be down on the knee for any reason. And I just step back. So now I'm supported and I'm not on the knee. So you could be here, here, here. If you've ever done chair yoga, you might have done this position here. Really lift the chest up. Okay. Nice job. Okay, well, let's get the other side. So I'm going to start on the knee, so if you want to do that elevated version, you can. Yeah, trying to remember what I did. So big step forward. There we go. Because I don't want to be here and having my knee go forward and lifting into the heel. I want a good solid base and my knee protected. Trying to get this knee behind the hip. That's what I like about having the towel. I can always slide back a little further back if I need to deepen that. If you can, add that spinal extension. It could be here or here. Your hip flexor is the muscle that will tighten automatically when you go into a stress response as part of the fight or flight response, where it will tighten, which shortens it. And a lot of times, it attaches to the lumbar spine. So if you're in a constant state of stress, that muscle is always tight. And you may feel that in your lower back because that's where it attaches. So it's good to release that muscle, but you also want to release that stress. I know, sometimes it's easier said than done. But it's so important to let your body recover from that. Okay, now I'm going to come up on the chair. We're going to do the same version. So step back. And I'm only half on so that this hip can be off. So I lean back. Remember, we're never forcing anything. We're just trying to let it relax. We're not trying to prove anything. We're not punishing ourselves. Here. Here. You can kind of move side to side. See where you really feel it. All right, bring those arms down. Okay, we're almost done. Walk that leg in. Have a seat. So take your feet apart. And we're going to come forward. Now, depending on how high your chair or your ottoman is, let your background, you're supported, and I want you to let your neck go. Now, I can't put my head all the way down because I have a mic on, but relax your neck. So we did that spinal extension. Now we're doing supported forward flexion of the spine. You can shift side to side. Good. Bring it all the way up. Big inhale. I hope you feel good. I hope you feel like you relieved some of that tension. Let me know how you did. I hope you have a great rest of your day or your night, and I'll see you next time. Bye.